there's a question floating around the internet. No, that nobody really wants to ask out loud, but everyone's thinking it. Why can't Chris Rock's baby walk or talk? Not at 9 months, not at a year, and now even past that, the little boy still isn't doing things most babies mastered long ago. He doesn't say mama. He doesn't crawl. He doesn't even lift his own head properly, and yet Chrisean keeps smiling like nothing's wrong, posting videos, going live, laughing off the questions. But behind every clip, behind every viral moment, something isn't adding up, because this isn't just about a baby who's a little behind. People are starting to wonder if something much deeper, much darker is going on. And what they're discovering has left even her most loyal fans speechless. But it all started with one video when Chrisean first introduced her son to the world. People were excited. She was loud. She was proud. She called him a blessing and held him up for the camera like he was the prize she'd been waiting her whole life for. But even in those early clips, something felt off. The baby didn't move much. He didn't cry. He didn't focus on her face. His body looked limp, like a rag doll in her arms, and when she bounced him, he barely reacted. Some fans brushed it off, said he was just tired, just sleepy, but others weren't so convinced. He's too still. One commenter wrote, "That baby doesn't look right." The excitement gradually gave way to confusion and then to fear as more people began to weigh in, including pediatric nurses, mothers, child development specialists, and others. This was because, month after month, Chrisean's baby wasn't developing as he should, and no matter how many people asked, she continued to sidestep the truth. However, what followed would turn the internet from worried to terrified at 3 months. At 6 months, Chris Jr. was unable to hold his head up, roll over, babble, or make eye contact. By 9 months, he was still not crawling, clapping, teething, laughing, or even making the basic noises that most infants make. Meanwhile, Chrisean continued to record herself at the gym, dance in clubs, and go live while holding the baby on her lap like a prop. Every time she showed him, people pleaded with her, take him to a doctor, get him checked. Please do something. However, she either laughed or snapped, and as the months passed with little improvement, queries flooded the internet. Some suggested that he may be delayed, while others said that this was a diagnosis that was only waiting to be made. That baby doesn't need TikTok. He needs therapy, was one reply. You name the platform, and that's when the hypothesis began to go haywire. Reddit doctors started sharing analyses of Chrisean's videos, highlighting symptoms of neurological problems. On TikTok, everyone had a theory that the baby might have Chrisean syndrome, a rare genetic disorder that affects facial development and muscle control. Others thought it might be fetal alcohol syndrome based on her wild behavior during pregnancy and rumors that she drank while carrying the child. Pediatric specialists used anonymous blogs to provide quiet diagnoses. Detectives zoomed in on footage, slowed it down, and played back clips frame by frame to analyze every movement or lack of movement. This investigation had evolved from gossip to an investigation, and the more people watched, the more they wondered, why is this baby so far behind? Why won't she get help? What is she hiding? Her next move didn't stop the rumors. Instead, it fueled them as the internet exploded with inquiries about her son's health. In a last Instagram Live that swiftly gained widespread attention, Chrisean chose to confront the rumors head-on. She grinned at the camera and remarked, "Y'all worried about my baby like he ain't perfect? He's just taking his time." Every time someone inquired about therapy or checkups, she rolled her eyes or changed the topic, saying, "I know my baby. I'm his mama. He doesn't need any doctors." But people watching couldn't shake the feeling that something was very, very wrong. Her tone didn't match her words, though, as she was giggling and distractedly waving the baby around like a handbag. She went from laughing to sobbing uncontrollably while holding the baby too tightly and saying things like, "I don't know what I'm doing." She then quickly returned to smiling as if nothing had happened, leaving her fans terrified rather than just perplexed. Then came the video that stopped the internet in its tracks. A video showed Chrisean performing exercises in the gym while holding her infant in her arms. He wasn't in a car seat and wasn't even supported. Instead, she was lifting weights while holding him loosely, causing his head to wobble with each movement. People in the comments were horrified that this wasn't safe, while another user stated that this was complete neglect in a subsequent video. She shouted over him as he sat in a prom, motionless and silent, while she danced and yelled in the background. Every clip made people more uneasy. And it wasn't just the baby's condition, it was how Chrisean responded to it. As one fan put it, then came the live stream where she pulled him off a bed mid-cry to show him to the camera. He didn't resist, flinch, or even make eye contact. It's like she's showing him off, but she's not seeing him. No apologies as of yet. No examinations after months of speculation. A well-known pediatrician on TikTok posted a reaction video that went viral in a matter of hours without naming Chrisean directly. She did not have to, but she did watch a clip of a baby who was unable to hold his head up, did not babble, and did not interact, and calmly stated, "These are not typical signs. This child is displaying symptoms of serious neurological delay." The infant displayed symptoms of hunia, or abnormally low muscular tone, which is frequently connected to genetic or developmental disorders, according to a breakdown shared by another pediatric nurse. Others noted that, unlike other kids his age, he didn't follow motion, react to sounds, or show emotional indicators. They weren't attacking, but rather warning. One even said the longer this child goes without therapy or professional help, the more irreversible the damage becomes. Rumors of legal action surfaced when it became clear that Chrisean and her child were the subject of calls to Child Protective Services. Nothing was confirmed, no official reports were made, and there was no public investigation. But the timing was suspicious, as CREs abruptly vanished from social media for days without posting any new baby pictures. No live broadcasts. No frantic updates when she eventually returned. Her energy had changed. She appeared worn out. Her smile was forced, and she whispered, "They trying to take my baby from me?" while crying. Nobody knew for sure, but something had changed when the baby's father decided to speak, and what he said next shocked even the most critical critics. That one sentence ignited the internet. Was CPS involved? Had someone filed a report? Was she finally being forced to face the truth? After months of being silent, but sometimes subtweeting Chrisean and like tweets, Blueface suddenly shared a picture of the infant with the message, "Ain't no way, this mine." People were astounded by both what he said and how he said it, and the internet went wild. Cold, brutal, no concern, no empathy, just straight up denial. "My other sons walk by now and suggesting the baby must have had some other issue going on," he said in a follow-up tweet, contrasting Chrisean Jr. to his other children. Some fans thought he was trolling, others believed he was lashing out because of guilt, but many were just angry. "Say what you want about Crone," one person wrote, "but don't come for your own son like that." Still, Blueface didn't back down. In fact, he started dropping even darker hints, suggesting Crow might have been lit during her pregnancy, and while he offered no proof, it only gave more fuel to the fire. That was already burning, but Chrisean's response wasn't rage, it was silence, and then she vanished for weeks. So there was nothing, no updates. No live streams, no gym videos, not a single post showing the baby count was still online, but not with her son. People started asking questions. Where is he? Did something happen? Was CPS involved? The silence was deafening. Some speculated the baby had been taken, others thought she was hiding him after Blueface's comments. A few even wondered if she was being forced offline by legal action, and just as panic was starting to peak, Chrisean reappeared smiling. Makeup done, sitting in her car, acting like nothing happened, but when someone asked about the baby during her live stream, her entire face changed. She went quiet for 5 full seconds. Then she said, "He, with my family, he good." No images, no video, no evidence, and she simply moved on. However, when she eventually got him back on camera, it felt more like a cover-up than a comeback. A few weeks later, she shared a video of herself with her son, but something wasn't quite right. He appeared to be in the same pose, with the same expressionless face. No eye contact, no interaction, just stillness. Some viewers even questioned whether the video was old. One commenter said that she had worn that outfit 3 months prior. In another post, people started comparing videos side by side, examining timestamps and zooming in on background details. The more closely they looked, the more suspicious they became that she was either hiding something worse or revealing new footage in one clip. The baby rocked back and forth repeatedly, a self-calming behavior that is frequently associated with developmental conditions or overstimulation, one fan wrote, and she knows it. Despite the criticism, Chrisean continued to say, nothing, no updates, no medical news. No progress to celebrate, just quiet, the type of stillness that speaks more than words ever could. Chrisean made an effort to maintain appearances by posting funny videos, dance clips, and even gym selfies. But something was off. Fans noticed the cracks in one clip where she was grinning. But if you looked closely, her eyes were watery. Her voice was shaking. She paused in the middle of a sentence, blinked quickly, and said, "I just be trying, y'all." She once uttered the words, "I don't know what I'm doing, but I swear I'm trying," off camera. But then she would snap back, flipping her hair and changing the topic. The internet was watching someone unfold in real time. Not in a dramatic way or in an explosive meltdown, but in slow motion. And throughout it all, the baby was sitting in the background. Not walking, not talking, just existing. Not playing, not laughing, not thriving. And the question that everyone is afraid to ask is the one that we can't ignore any longer. By this point, the majority of the internet had decided that something was wrong with Chrisean Jr. But the real question was whether it could still be fixed. According to early childhood experts, every kid has a crucial developmental window, often before the age of 3, during which intervention can have the greatest impact. Treatments, if detected early, some children make significant progress with speech training, muscle stimulation, and even medication. People are beginning to question that kind of progress because it takes time, effort, and most importantly, the willingness to face the truth. Some people go from being completely nonverbal to speaking in short sentences, while others learn to walk with assistance, build strength, and become independent. In between the cluttered live broadcasts and Instagram filters, Chrisean even wants to avoid facing the reality, since doing so would require her to acknowledge that anything could be amiss. And for someone who has built their reputation on being unconcerned, that might be the one thing they aren't prepared to do. There have been brief, unpolished times when Chrisean's voice cracks and her eyes linger on her child for an excessive amount of time. In one video, she gently reassured him, "You're going to be okay?" However, the way she said it, which was low and almost like a prayer, sounded afraid rather than confident. In other footage, she glanced at him and wiped his lips before whispering, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." She repeatedly tries to brush it off, laugh through the pain, and dance through the doubt. But you can see it because she knows deep down that the milestones aren't being met and that the world is watching. She knows the comments aren't just hate, they're warning signs. However, the more she pretends everything is fine, the more time passes. And when it's just Sean and that little boy in a quiet room, is he comforted, fed on time, and stimulated with toys, music, and therapy things he desperately needs? Or is he just lying there staring at nothing, falling behind while his mother live streams and dances in another room? No one can be certain, but we do know that social media doesn't lie. You may alter a photo's caption and filter it, fabricate a feeling, but the video is honest. And we've seen enough to know that something is wrong. This isn't about calling it quits. Chrisean Rock, this isn't about drama. It's about a baby who might never speak, walk, or live, who might live a limited life for the rest of his days, not because he had to, but because no one intervened when it mattered most. The most terrifying thing that could already be happening is that the internet loves chaos and a good headline. It's a meme, a scandal. But this story isn't just a trending topic. It's a silent cry for help. And while everyone else is making jokes and taking sides, a child is sitting in the middle of it all, unable to speak for himself. Perhaps the real question is who will take action before it's too late? Because if no one takes it seriously, that little boy might grow up trapped in silence, not because of what's wrong with him, but because of what everyone refused to do when they still had the opportunity. Let's all wish Crone and her adorable baby boy the best. Perhaps people are overanalyzing the situation. What do you think? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you enjoy Clyde's Vibes,